Breaking news here on Track in the Tropics. We are monitoring closely here. Tropical Depression number 10 forecast to become eventually Tropical Storm Imelda. We have a forecast cone and a track here that we're going to be breaking down here with Storm Teammate meteorologist Ian Oliver here live on Track in the Tropics. Hey there, everybody. JB Buno here, back with you again. We have said farewell to Dorian, Ian. We have said farewell to Umberto, right? But now we're keeping an eye here on Tropical Depression 10, which is likely to become Imelda, perhaps by the end of today.
Yeah, in short order, that's exactly right. We're still in the heart of tropical season, so this is not unexpected. But yes, if you've been with us the last several days, we've been talking about a tropical wave, a very potent one that's been moving its way across the tropical Atlantic. The National Hurricane Center has had very high probabilities on that disturbance of it becoming a tropical system, and that's exactly what's happened this morning per the 11 a.m. update from the National Hurricane Center. That's it. We've got Tropical Depression 10. Its motion west-northwest at 12 miles per hour. Its max winds at 35 miles per hour. So already a well-formed depression and likely to intensify, forecast to intensify into our next named system. As JB mentioned, it will be Imelda once it becomes a tropical storm, and that could happen as early as this afternoon or this evening. That is the forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center. Talked about how this is forecast to develop into a tropical storm. It's actually forecast to develop eventually into a hurricane. That would be by the end of this work week. Its forecast cone of uncertainty takes it somewhere close to the northern Lesser Antilles, perhaps just north of that, eventually becoming a Category 1 storm. Only thing inhibiting this system in the short term, JB, would be some dry air. There is some of that in the general vicinity and in its motion, the path that it's heading. But overall, it's moving over a very warm sea surface temperatures. That'll especially be the case late in the week, and the shear environment really isn't bad. So it's going to be in a decent environment for development, and that's why the latest forecast from the National Hurricane Center does have it eventually reaching a hurricane strength. Should point out that would be our fourth hurricane of the season now. We had Barry. Of course, we had Dorian. We've been tracking Umberto. And then Imelda may eventually become our fourth.
This is almost feels like deja vu all over again here, because if we're looking here at the forecast track here on Track in the Tropics, this looks a little bit familiar here, Ian, at least from the naked eye. Of course, the models and the tracks are going to look different from storm to storm, but this looks like, you know, at the very end of the cone of uncertainty here, we're looking at it potentially, you know, getting closer to the Bahamas, and then again, we're way out on this storm, but Florida is on our screen here as well.
Yeah, that's something that we should point out long-term. In fact, I was just getting the spaghetti plot graphic ready to roll because I know a lot of folks want to see this. As far as its origin point, you're exactly right, JB. This is textbook middle of September. We're talking about a tropical wave, came off the coast of Africa. It's in what we call the main development region, the MDR, as it moves across the tropical Atlantic. What we see with a lot of storms from the MDR, though, of course, sometimes they track farther to the west and they start impacting land. There is some hope and some indications from the long-term forecast models, both the GFS and the Euro, do have this system recurving in the sense that that subtropical high, we talked about that in great length, of course, with Dorian and a number of other storms this season. There's a weakness in that area of high pressure, at least forecast to be there quite early with this. So that would be a path for Imelda eventually to turn north, perhaps not impacting land masses, the southeast coast of the United States, the Bahamas, we hope, of course, northern parts of the Lesser Antilles. You see that some of those forecast models, a little bit more of a southerly track. Some keep the system well off to the north. So want to point out the end of those lines, those spaghetti plots, that's 7 days. So this is a system that's still 1,100 miles off to the east of the Lesser Antilles. So there's a lot to be decided here, but at least early indications, we like what we're seeing from those
And I mentioned the Bahamas earlier because we want there to be relief for the Bahamas.
Yes.
I mean, my goodness, I mean, what they experience with not just Dorian, but also Umberto, right? I mean, with them getting significant rainfall there, not nearly as bad as Dorian, of course, but the last thing you want is the trifecta. You don't want another storm to plow through the Bahamas. So we would hope that these spaghetti models here that we're looking at, taking it that northerly track away from the islands there would be something that comes to fruition. We could only hope.
Of course. And right now, as I mentioned, the trend looks good. It's better than having a bad trend and hoping for that to change. Right now, we just want the forecast models, what they're suggesting about a week, 7 to 10 days from now. We just want that to happen, which means that this would do what tropical systems do, take energy from the tropics and bring it poleward, taking some of that heat towards the North Pole, which is why these systems eventually turn to the north. That's what they're trying to do. That's what nature is trying to achieve. So it's all about that subtropical ridge. We're always talking about that. It looks like there will be a path north with this. It's way out there, so of course we'll be tracking this very closely, its whole journey over the next week across the tropical Atlantic, and then eventually where it goes from there.
He is Storm Team 8 meteorologist Ian Oliver. I'm WFLA's JB Buno. We are tracking Tropical Depression 10, which could, by the end of today, become Tropical Storm Imelda. That will be the next name on the list. And it could become a hurricane, a Category 1 hurricane in the days to come, though obviously we're going to be monitoring all the new data, all the tracks that are going to be coming in here live on Tracking the Tropics. When we have a significant update for you, we're going to be live right here on this app, this social media platform, or this website to let you know exactly what's going on. So for Storm Team 8 meteorologist Ian Oliver, I'm JB Buno. We're going to get going for now, but more updates to come right here on Tracking the Tropics as we monitor Tropical Depression number 10. Thanks for being with us, everybody.
Thank you for watching Tracking the Tropics.